Hey, welcome back. So today I am talking about a product that you all have been asking me to talk about for a long time, and I finally had the opportunity to try these. Every time I would go to purchase them from the website, most of the shades that were intriguing to me were sold out. And then I got on Amazon and saw that all of the shades were available and they were sold directly through the company, which is something I'm really particular about when it comes to cosmetics on Amazon. I only want it to be sold directly from the company or sold from an Amazon warehouse. So the brand I'm going to be talking about today is a pretty good contender for a dupe on my beloved Mercier caviar sticks, and it's the Kiko Milano Long Lasting Eyeshadow Stick. I purchased 4 shades, and these little guys are $9 each, so a pretty significant price drop from the caviar sticks, which run for $29 each. And I have to say, out of the 4 shades that I got, 3 of them are solid dupes for some of my favorite caviar stick shades. I'm talking identical. So I want to break these down for you pretty quickly. I don't want to drag this video out. After all, we are just talking about one particular product. Talk about some pros, some cons, longevity, all that fun stuff. So let's go ahead and start. I'm trying to figure out the best way to review these because I feel like it's a pretty straight shot, straight to the point review. I have a pretty solid opinion on them, but I don't want it to be too vague. So let's just start out by sharing the shades that I purchased. I purchased the shades, and by the way, this really bothers me when brands do this. The CoverGirl Queenship Shadow Sticks, exact same thing. So when you get them in person, there's only a number listed on the bottom, but when you order them online, there's an actual written out name. So when I include the swatches, I'm going to put the number and the written out name so you can find them more easily. But right now I just have the number. So I purchased the shades 46, 05, 04, and 07. I want to get straight to the point and talk about the formula on these because I had the impression that these were going to be a pretty dry formula. I don't know why. I don't know if I've had one of these in the past, maybe in an old Ipsy bag or just from looking at swatches online. I always had the impression that these were a drier cream shadow formula, and they may have reformulated them throughout the years. I don't really know, but they're not. They're actually very, very creamy. I love the texture. I've had no issues with applying them. And as far as comparing these between a caviar stick and a CoverGirl Queenship Shadow Stick, I would say these are right in the middle. So yeah, I would say that these are right in the middle. So the way I'm describing that is basically a caviar stick, I feel, has almost the perfect balance of longevity and workability. And what I mean by that is basically when I apply them, they give me enough time to blend out before they set down on my eyes. With the CoverGirl Queenship Shadow Sticks, they dry pretty fast. The pro to that is that they're very long lasting on the eyes. They're more budge proof than the caviar stick. The con to that is that you don't have a lot of time to really work and get a smooth transition going. Oftentimes I feel like they dry before I can get a really smooth eye look. And so that's a problem for me when I use those. So these kind of in between. They have the same texture as a caviar stick, but I don't think that they dry down or have the longevity of either a caviar stick or a Queenship Shadow Stick. I think that they have a pretty good longevity. There are certain shades that performed better for me, and I will talk about those in just a second. But overall, I think with a caviar stick on me personally, I can always get a solid 6 to 8 hour wear. The CoverGirl ones, they just don't budge on me. I feel like I can look at them, put them on at, 10 o'clock in the morning, 8 o'clock at night. They pretty much look the same. With these, there have been a few days where I've noticed creasing by the end of the day. There have been a few days when I've noticed them to fade a bit more. So in terms of comparing the formula, I would place them in the middle. They're very easy to work with, same texture as a caviar stick, not necessarily, in my opinion, the longevity. And these do supposedly have an 8 hour no transfer claim. I would not agree with that fully. So let's talk about my two best performing shades. And one of them is actually the shade that I'm wearing on my eyes right now. And it is the shade 46. This is the only one that I felt didn't have a dupe for Caviar Stick, because there's not a Caviar Stick in this color. It's a really interesting multi-chromatic eyeshadow color. It's kind of like this rusty bronze, or maybe like this bronzy pewter undertone, and then there is a high balance of a purple and almost like a green shift when you apply it. Definitely purple. Sometimes I can see a little bit of green going on in there. So you have a lot of these like multi colors or multi shades happening. Definitely don't think there is a similar color in the Caviar Stick. And the second shade is 04. This one you guys are going to be so excited about, because it is like a spot on dupe for Laura Mercier's Cocoa, which is my all-time favorite. It's the one I use the most. It's the most versatile. It's just a nice, rich chocolate brown. And the shade number 4 from Kiko, it's really hard for me to tell the difference. And as far as blendability goes, I feel they apply the same, the pigment's the same, you can build them up, you can wear them really sheer. And both of these shades have worn really nicely on me. I would definitely give them a little bit more of a pass on that 8-hour claim that they have, because I would say that out of the 4 that I have, these are the 2 that have made it the closest to that 8-hour mark. The thing is that everyone's eyes are different. Some people have more oily lids, some people have more dry eyes like I have. And so I don't wear a primer when I wear cream eyeshadows. That definitely can add to, the longevity. But the reason I don't wear a primer with cream shadows is that oftentimes if you use a primer like a MAC paint pot, something that already has pigment to it, it can really muddle up the color and disturb the cream shadow further. So you'd have to use something that's really transparent, like an Urban Decay primer potion, something that's not going to actually add pigment to the lid. And just in general, I'm not an eyeshadow primer person. I don't feel like it's completely necessary for me. So could these maybe last longer with like a more transparent shadow primer? Possibly. But I'm just not a stickler for perfected makeup. We know that by the 5-6 hour mark, if it's not looking perfectly polished, it doesn't really bother me that bad. I just want the shade to still be at least noticeable and still similar to what it looked like when I applied it from the beginning. Okay, so let's talk about the other 2 shades that I have. Really good spot on dupes for, again, 2 of my favorite Caviar Sticks. 07, which is a wonderful dupe for the Caviar Stick in Sugar Frost, and 05, which is a spot on dupe for the Caviar Stick in Amethyst, which I've been using for years. I think it was my first ever Caviar Stick, and I've always loved that one. Unfortunately, I am out of it currently, and I only have Intense Amethyst to compare the shade 05 to, so forgive me, but trust me, if you've ever wanted to try Amethyst from Laura Mercier, shade 05 from Kiko is spot on. So I want to talk about 07. This was the first one that I tried, and I have to say that it was the one that I noticed the most creasing with, and that could be for, I think it was mainly one reason. I applied it really heavily to my eyes when I got it in. I was just kind of building up the pigment, got a little out of hand, and I ended up using it pretty heavily on my eyes. So after like an hour wear, I noticed a lot of creasing going on, especially in the folds of my eye. Like I said, this could just be due to the fact that I applied a little bit more than what I generally would, but I noticed creasing with it the most. And then the shade 05, the interesting thing is both of these colors have a similar formula, like they're both very metallic and they have almost an identical finish. The 05 one didn't crease on me. I wore it very sheer on my eyes, and it did not crease as quickly, but I will say around like the 4-hour mark, I noticed kind of like the same thing happening with the 07 shade. So these two, I would say not as long wearing. I cannot commit fully to that 8-hour claim on them. However, Really pretty colors. Possibly, again, if you used a transparent eyeshadow primer, you might get a better wear out of them. But overall, for $9, I'm not mad about it. We have a nice creamy texture going on. Definitely something that you can wear sheer or build up. They don't completely dry down like the CoverGirl ones do. That may be a problem for those of you with oily eyelids. So I will caution you in that area. That's the only type of eyelid, I guess we'll say, that I would probably maybe be a little bit more wary about with this formula. But like I said, I've noticed just a difference in longevity depending on which shade I'm wearing. So, you know, there might be some that are more suited for your particular lid type or your particular skin type. You just kind of have to do like a trial and error thing with these. Again, $9. I just feel like it's worth a shot. Like even the CoverGirl Queenship shadows, I think those are 11. They're between like $9 and $11. So these are worth looking into. I will be investigating more shades that could possibly be dupes for Caviar Sticks. But as far as the 4 that I have now, 3 of those were like spot on. I mean, it's very hard to tell the difference. So final conclusion, I think these are worth a go. I think they're worth a shot. I think if you are someone who has always looked at my cream shadow like Caviar Stick videos and just could not bite the bullet, didn't want to do the $29 price tag, which I completely agree with. But I will say I still love my Caviar Sticks. I will defend them till the day I die. These will be a very good option for you to test out and possibly go recreate some of those eye looks that I've done with Amethyst or with Cocoa or with Sugar Frost. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this. Overall, very impressed. I will have these linked down below. I think you can still get these on the Kiko website if they sell out on Amazon. But obviously they came very fast because I ordered them and they were available with Prime delivery. So overall impressed. I'm liking them. We'll be using them in upcoming videos. I hope you enjoyed this and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.